Should one experiment with relationships that can have a certain role in your life, even if not long term, or is it a waste of time? Wonderful question as always, Luce. You always have fantastic questions. This is my point of view. This is a market centric point of view. If you ask 10 people, you'll probably get 10 different responses. So I'm not saying what I'm saying is right, but I do believe it's helpful and beneficial, and it's what's would be I think it would be compatible with a lot of people. I think, first of all, I think finding that person that you're most compatible with is a numbers game. That's my view, Luce. I think it's a matter of probability. Some people have different views on this. They believe that the cosmos or some kind of outside force is like guiding, people together. I believe that it's a matter of probability. It's a matter of luck. And I also believe that many of us are compatible with a multitude of people. It's just, I know this is a very mechanical perception of it, but to me, it's just true. It's just we don't have the bandwidth when you finally meet that person. Understandably, rightly so, your bandwidth closes off to other people, so you don't notice how compatible you are with others, nor do you need to notice how compatible you are. You find the person you were compatible with, cool. But my point about that is it's a numbers game. And how can you know unless you're out there engaging in the trial and error? I don't understand how people can complain about not finding somebody, but they're not engaging in that process of trial and error. And in that process of trial and error, there are going to be many people that at first it's all good, it's all good, it's all good, and then red flag, red flag, red flag. But here's the thing: did you learn something? Did you learn something about, even if you still don't know necessarily what you want exactly? More and more through meeting people and having those romantic encounters, you learn what you don't want at the very least, and you learn about things about yourself. You learn about your certain insecurities you have. You learn about certain attractions that you had that were founded in superficial grounds, that they're based in a superficial context within you. I just think there's so much evolution and growth that can occur from casual romantic encounters. Now here's the problem. This is just the biggest issue for me. Me again, I can't stress enough. This is a me thing, and I'm not saying this. I think it's all good with casual romantic encounters. And like, even if, like, let's even just straightforwardly go to it, even like casual sex, as long as no children are being created. Whether the woman is definitely on birth control, or whether the man is definitely wearing a condom, or both, to really make sure. My whole thing is, as long as a child isn't being created, I think do your thing. I know there's a lot of other variables to consider, and I know children are not the only problem that can come from sex. I know, I mean, I shouldn't say the only problem. They're not the only consequence. Let's call it a consequence. I don't mean to insult anybody that's had a child by accident. There's a lot of men and women who've had children by accident, and they have no regrets. They love their children deeply, and they may even still have a decent bond with their with the parent of their child, even if they're not together anymore. But that being said, there's also a shit ton of people who the child is in a loveless ass home, and the parent is awful and they suck, and there's no bond between the one of the people that created the child. My point is, my main thing has always been, do what you do, just don't create no damn kid, and you're good. Like, because now you're bringing in you're bringing in, quite literally, a third entity into the mix, which is now like, come on, like, that's a life. It's not a momentary issue. It's a lifelong issue. Sure, a lot of people don't give a damn, but obviously you would give a damn, and I would give a damn, and so don't put yourself in a lifelong consequential issue problem from not being focused enough to make sure the guy is wearing a condom. Like, a lot of women, my beef with a lot of women. I'm sorry, a lot of women just either they don't care about the dude wearing a condom, they're not paying attention whether he's wearing a condom, and a lot of dudes are like, I don't want to wear a condom. And people, I think it's just insane to create kids just willy nilly, and just be like, whatever. Like, I can't stress enough how wild it is to me to be lackadaisical. People, because I am crazy. People might think I have a lot of crazy perception and stuff. I think the world is crazy where there's this lackadaisical sentiment towards children just being created. It's like, oh, you're pregnant? Oh, you're 21? Cool. Like, man, y'all out of y'all damn mind. But anyway, to bring it back loose, I think there's so much growth and so many lessons. I can't get there's so if you because you're a student of humanity. I know you are. Like, you're a student of, like, your nature, and you want to grow and evolve, and therefore you're a student of others' nature. There's no I've always been fascinated with our romantic inclinations, with our attraction, because it shows this different, this fantastically intriguing different dimension of our humanity, because we behave in such dramatically different ways when it comes to our romantic attractions, when it comes to our sexual attractions. And it's good to get that shit out your system. I feel it's good to get like, okay, so initially I thought I was attracted to this, but I didn't realize that this factor that I was so attracted to is actually not that important to me. If there's all these other factors that are incompatible with me going, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you learn so much. I can't stress enough. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of dating apps, Luce, because you know, again, it's a numbers game. You'll find, where are you finding these people? You know, unless you're out and about genuinely, sincerely looking for people to talk to, everybody's on the apps. And the argument against the apps, and I'm not mad at it, a lot of people I know personally don't fuck with apps. Here's the thing about the dating apps, right? You get a bunch of, like, from a woman's perspective, there's a bunch of awful dudes on there that only want sex from you, right? But here's the thing, you go to the bar or you go to the club or you go to a lounge, trust me when I say there's also a bunch of dudes that just want to have sex with you. It's like, those dudes are gonna be doing that whether they're on the app or whether they see you in person. So you might as well get, I believe, if you say the right things, if you ask the right questions, you can definitely get a very good idea as to the mind of a man on those apps. Like if you're asking the right things, because then if you ask the right questions and they're not responding, that's also your answer. So then move on, move on. So again, to answer your question, no, it's not pointless. I think it's a beautiful thing, especially if a child is not being created in the process. Then it's definitely a beautiful thing, and it's like no harm, no foul. Just no, but obviously there will be consequences. There will be heartbreak. There will be pain. There will be, because it's the process of you being vulnerable, and then then it's the process of love dissolving if love was there to begin with from each other. It's all a risk, and it's all you putting your heart on the table. But I still think it's an awesome, beautiful thing because, man, there's just so many lessons and it's so fascinating. And I think the growth that is acquired from romantic pursuits, from the trial and error of romantic pursuit, if that's what your intention is anyway, because growth does not happen, obviously, or so many of these dudes out here, so many dudes would be freaking, they'd be the wisest mother effers on earth if it was just a matter of numbers. It's not a matter of the amount of people you talk to that makes you grow. It's a matter of the intentionality behind your interest and growth when approaching that casual romantic and thing. So I definitely believe it's a waste of time. Just to make it even clearer, I think if you met somebody loose and let's say that y'all had like a 3-year, 5-year relationship, and within that 5 years, there was ups and downs, trial and errors, but you learned so much. I just don't believe it's a waste of time. Other people might look at it a waste of time due to the notion of like what they want in life. A lot of people want a family, like they need to have a family at this point. They need to have a child at this point. They're trying to, they have a certain schedule. They have like a life schedule. And they're like, I can't, like, I need this right now. I need this within 2 years. I need to have a husband. I need to have a wife. I need to have a kid. And within the next, you know what I'm saying? So if, a lot of people don't see it the same because they have, quite frankly, a schedule that they're abiding by, and they don't have the patience for that. But me, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's a fascinating thing. It's an interesting thing, a beneficial thing. I do not think it's a waste of time, especially or even only if the intention behind your approach to it is to learn, to grow, to evolve, to understand them, to understand yourself. It is probably one of the most beautiful things to do. Just don't create no kid. Make that dude wear a damn condom for the love of God. Please. It's like, I'm sorry. That kid stuff ain't no joke, boy. Anyway, I digress. Blessings.